Hello and welcome to the broadcast. Individual sovereignty is something that I have spoken about before. For example, I put out a broadcast some time ago about how we should really celebrate the individual, especially those amongst us who are eccentric, those who have their own idiosyncrasies. Why do I say this? Well, the significance of individual sovereignty is probably no more apparent than it is right now, as we are living through an epoch in which there are many innumerable ways in which the Freemasonic controllers, the sorcerers, those who spin out the mind-bending psyops, are attempting to corral you into a collectivist mindset. And from that, it stands to reason that the antidote to all of that, to that collectivization, to that attempt to drag you into a hive mind, the antidote lies within the individual, the divine individual. And why do I say this? Well, it's long been established that you could have an incident, say a car crash has taken place and there are 12 witnesses. Each of those witnesses, although they were there together at the time and each of them saw exactly what had happened, you could well end up, and it's most likely you would end up with 12 different accounts, 12 detailed accounts of what happened. And that's because each of us is moving through life in an individual reality tunnel. And I suppose if we look at them as bubbles or circles of individuality, there are points where there is an overlap, like a Venn diagram, where there is an intersection between the reality tunnel of the individual and those around him. It's a soul journey. It's the journey of the individual soul through the construct, through the material. So ultimately, in that sense, we are kind of alone from the perspective of the journey being unique to each and every one of us. So in a situation where you have multiple witnesses to an incident, there may well be, well, there will be a number of different interpretations of that, because different people will see different things and interpret the incident, for instance, in this case, the car crash, through their own lens, as it were. And that's just the way it is. That is the nature of our individual soul journeys through this construct, the journey that we call life. At times, though, those individuals will come together because they have a resonance. They may not see things exactly the same, but broadly speaking, they may be on the same page. So right now, is it not surprising, is it not unsurprising that individuals are coming together all around the world? But I'm concerned at the moment with the events that are unfolding on the Isles of Britain. During the COVID debacle, there were a number of marches that took place. I'm thinking particularly of those in London, where you had thousands of people coming together, each of whom were broadly speaking on the same page insofar as they were non-compliant with the diktats of the tyrannical government. And when individuals come together like that to make their voice heard, they are effectively acting as individuals, but within the context of a gathering of many others who are like-minded, those who share their concerns. And so when you see, for example, ordinary people beginning to come out in places like Nuneaton, which is a small town in the Midlands, to voice their displeasure at what's been going on with the unfettered illegal invasion by these aliens, and when children are being targeted and being sexually assaulted by those same aliens, you can see that there is something going on. It's almost as though there is an awakening of the previously slumbering great British lion. And it is wonderful to see. And far from being right-wing or racist or anti-refugee, these people are doing what they are morally compelled to do, which, namely, is to stand up to the tyrannical diktats of those who would attempt to corral them into a group mentality. And it is wonderful to see. It's a little bit like the toothpaste that is squeezed out of the tube. Once it's out, it cannot go back in. And right now, that's what we're witnessing. We are witnessing, if you like, the release of the genie from the lamp. And once he's out, he's not going back in. And in this case, these protests, if you like, these massive demonstrations of British morality, individual morality, are to be expected, because, to reiterate, the antidote to all forms of collectivisation lies within the sovereign individual. And sovereign, remember, means beyond rule. A sovereign individual understands the nature of the reality he's in, and he understands the nature of his journey, it being a individual soul journey. And if all this sounds simple, then that's because it is. Remember, the truth is not complicated. The truth does not fear examination, and it is easily and eloquently expressed. And how do we know the truth when we hear it? Well, it all boils down to this resonance. It's an energetic field that we're tapping into. And though you may not agree with someone precisely on a number of points, broadly speaking, we, should I say, those who are able to apply and truly understand the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Those who know that in their hearts and they feel it in their guts, to the point where they're acting intuitively, then it's only natural that they would come together individually. And I know it sounds paradoxical, and that is the nature of what we're looking at here, what we're examining. I know I repeat myself from time to time, but these points are valid and well worth reiterating on the simple basis that it is the truth. So if you're an individual who's out there right now, who's had an absolute gutful of the tyranny and of all the attempts by these puppets who are acting in and through the aegis of the fake UK government in this case, then you'll understand what I'm talking about. It is entirely an individual journey. And as I say, the sovereign individual is the one who puts no man-made authority between himself and his creator. The architect, if you like, or God, the creator of all that is. And so I think it's entirely reasonable to state that we can expect to see more of this, because it is as though a slumbering lion has been awoken. or should I say, perhaps more accurately, millions of slumbering lions have been woken up by the invasion of the aliens across the world, but also specifically across the Isles of Britain right now. And that's the key point I wish to make in today's roadcast. You, the individual, are a divine soul. You are loved by the Creator, and it's important to remember also that it behoves us to be the bearers of light. If we look at what is known as the deep state, or what may well be referred to as the Freemasonic controllers, they are acting in the darkness. They are those individuals who have sold their soul to a collectivist mindset. And believe you me, in this construct, it is possible to sell your soul. Many pop stars, film stars, politicians, bankers, who have taken oaths, as in the Freemasons, to jar Baal on and the forces of the demiurge, have contracted with those forces. And whilst the consequences of that may be that they are well rewarded materially, it comes at a great cost, because they have effectively sold their souls. They've sold out. I'm just going to turn the camera around because this is a stunning view. I'm once again on the outskirts of Nottingham, near Eastwood, and I'd like to show you some of the beautiful rolling countryside that is around me right now. You can see what are the remnants of what was once a massive forest known as it still is known as Sherwood Forest. But the area is characterised by these gently rolling hills, these hidden valleys, and these groves, these forest groves. And as I've said before, there is something very soothing, if you like. It's something quite majestic about places like this, especially if you live in a city. And it's important to get out and to reconnect with the beauty that lies, in many cases, not too far from the boundaries of the city or the town in which you live. I don't think there's much more I need to say at this juncture, other than, if you've got this far, thank you very much for your attention. I'd also like to thank each and every one of those who has helped me out in terms of making a donation. If you are feeling appreciative and you would like to help me out, particularly at this time when I have no bank account and when my funds are somewhat depleted and I'm homeless, then please consider chucking a few quid into the Buy Me a Coffee pot, which is linked below, and or taking out a subscription at my Substack page, where I can be found at MOD 800. If you take out a paid subscription, it is truly appreciated. So, from the majestic, sweeping countryside of Nottinghamshire, I'd like to bid you a fond farewell. Until the next time, my friends, stay individual, stay true to your divine soul, your individuality, for that is all that matters at this point, that you express your truth and you be the character, the divine character which you undoubtedly are. As ever, thank you for listening, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Oh, before I forget, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're on the X platform, you will find me on there at rogue_male1, and I'm currently fairly active on there. Whilst I'm not entirely convinced of the intentions behind Mr. Elon Musk and the rest of those who run the platform, it is for now something of a free speech platform. I'm not saying it's completely free speech, because I know that they do throttle down on those who perhaps are making controversial posts, usually at the behest of some criminal government like that, which is presuming to preside over the Isles of Britain right now. But nevertheless, it's a good place for information and for sharing your thoughts, and I've certainly shared a lot of my thoughts there. And finally, perhaps you could consider, if you haven't done so already, taking out just subscribing to my website, roguemail.org, and that way you'll be guaranteed that you'll receive the notifications of when I post an essay or release a discourse. So, thank you very much. Catch you on the flip side. Cheers.